It's been a while since I've been able to say this, but this video review is being brought to you by PrimeToys.net. PrimeToys.net, where you can get your collector grade toys at not the collector grade prices. PrimeToys.net. And once again, guys, it is me, Dynamite, here with another video review. And I can't start off without saying I'm a reviewer, so let the reviews be joined. And as you can see, today we're going to look at a figure I picked up fairly recently from PrimeToys.net. Transformers Combiner Wars Leader Class Starscream. Quick thing on this, as we all know, this is another remold of the Jetfire mold, which was later done into Thundercracker, which of course brought out to Starscream, which we all knew was coming. And then we also know that there's going to be another use of the mold with Skywarp, which I believe that should be coming out for the next month, 2 months at the most, I believe. I think it's supposed to come out by the end of this year, but I may not be sure. But before we get off to that, let's go ahead and look at Starscream here. And I have to admit, I liked the Jetfire mold. I loved the Thundercracker mold a lot more than I thought I would. But for something on this, with it being Starscream, and Starscream being one of my favorite characters, I love the way this one looks. I mean, this one just looks, the paint scheme for him being in the, basically the G1 colors look to him, and being, of course, Starscream, I have to admit I really like him this way. I do plan to get the other mold of this once these Skywarp comes out and get that review out to you as well, so I'll have all 4 of these molds, but that's just another video for another time and another use of this mold. But this is a really good mold. I have always liked the way they've done this mold. I think it's a very, very good use of it. But let's get into the details on him, shall we? As you can see, he's just repainted into the G1 Starscream colors. You got all the basically the gray all over his body. Of course, with the reds here and here, all around him, basically. Basically for his upper body and his wings and stuff. And you got the blues for his tail fins, nose cone, and bits and pieces here, but and then of course the cockpit cover, or the the windshield basically here for it is basically been painted yellow to match with it, so still nice, very cool. Basically the same on everything of this mold as usual. It's basically with the accessories on this, he has everything that Thundercracker and Jetfire had, aside of course from Jetfire, who has the booster pack that neither Thundercracker nor Starscream have at all. Which what sets him apart from where Thundercracker and Starscream actually have one little addition, with Starscream having an additional accessory to add to it, which we'll look at here in just a moment. Of course, here's one of them. He has his launcher missile, which of course is the same exact mold as the Thundercracker and Starscream, or excuse me, the Thundercracker and Jetfire, but it's just been painted blue for gray missile. So it's still very cool. We also have, of course, these leg mounted armor or cannons, whichever you want to call it, which are again are the same as the Jetfire and Thundercracker, just blue, where Jetfire's is red, chromed out red, and Thundercracker's was black. But we got those. And we also have 2 more, again, that Jetfire and Thundercracker have, but again painted blue. These are basically the forearms, cannons for them. Were, of course, chromed red for Jetfire, and black for Thundercracker, and blue for Starscream. And then lastly, for his weaponry, we have these basically big cannons, basically like null rays, and I guess you can say in a way for them. Jetfire did not have these. These were actually the addition that Thundercracker and Starscream got that he did not have. Basically, they added these and took away the booster pack and gave the Thundercracker and Skywarp this. Skywarps, of course, was I believe they were like a blue. Yeah, they were a blue color, and Starscream's is gray, basically matching his paint job. So it's actually pretty cool. You can display these in many ways. We'll save his last accessory for last for when he gets in his robot mode, because it can't be used in his jet mode. And we'll just throw on his weaponry to show you off how it looks here. What I tend to do is put the bigger guns. Well, let's get these on first. Basically, just like before, you put these in right here in these peg holes, basically in the bottom of his jet mode, and I'll peg right over with this peg. The wheel will slide through this little hole here, which is real easy. Just not even any force behind it all, just pushing it on there. We'll push the other one on just the same, like so. It doesn't impede anything with it, which I still don't have that one on all the way. Because of course you have the landing gear up front here that comes down for all three of them. I'll set this aside just to show, it doesn't impede him for a landing or whatever. You can, I should note this as well, just like with Thundercracker, he does have little slots here basically for the booster pack. So if you want to get you an extra booster pack from Jetfire and use it, repaint it, whatever, to put onto your Starscream, you're more than welcome to. I may even end up doing that. I have been considering it for both of them. Even for Skyward, when I get him, I'll probably try to get 3 of them. That way I have each of them with all the basic accessories to them. But we'll go off that. Next step, we'll go and add his smaller cannons here, which, of course, I think it looks better putting them on the outer wing. You can put them on either way, but I'm going to actually show it off by doing it on both sides. I'll put, put the bigger guns on the inside, the blue ones on the outside for this side, and I'll do the opposite on this one, just so I can show you the little difference between them. Put this on this side, and right like so. And that's basically that. You can make your own decision which one you like better. I personally do like the bigger gun on the inside because it kind of looks better. I even actually like it a lot without these extra weapons. Just pop this off here and see how it kind of looks like the regular G1 self, where he only had the one underside, because you could actually, if you had the G1 figure, you had the smaller missile basically for jet mode, and you had the larger cannon for robot mode, but you could stick it in like this for the jet mode, and it actually looked pretty good with that. But, there you go. That's basically what you can do with that. You can mix and match this as you wish. The Thundercracker and the Jetfire weapons will also work on either one of these being all the same modes. But we'll just pop these off here so we can transform them real quick. And like with Jetfire and Thundercracker, basically the same transformation. Real simple. Start off real easy. We'll start off here with the front. Basically, put your fingers right here, right about where these screws are right there, and just kind of push down, which will help pop these loose. These hinges here, pop those out. This way it loosens all this up. You can actually go ahead and pop this up and out if you want to, just to give it some separation and get it some clearance already. You can then unpeg here, because the legs are pegged into these back fins. I'm not sure well that's coming across there. You can see it right there. There's a peg hole there with a little peg here in the leg for it. You can then rotate these down, and as you rotate, I normally, once you get it rotated here, you straighten the leg out like I did, and then turn like so, just to get the leg straightened out, and then go ahead and straighten it all the way down like so. You don't have to do it all the way straight, just to help get it out of the way, which is what I tend to do. Do the same on this side, turn it, straighten it out, and just kind of get you some clearance there. You can then, back here in the back, right here, you want to just pull these down. At the same time, there's a hinge here. We can bend that up to get the arm out, get the arm situated. Same on this side. Rotate that down, bend that joint up just to get it clearance, and then you rotate this section up like so. Don't forget to raise these up, back up, just to get them back up there. You situate these down, straighten the legs fully down, and straighten them out, because I'm not sure if I mentioned this in my previous videos. I think I completely forgot to do it, because once you get these straightened out, down here in this bottom section, you see how they don't really peg together there, but right here, you have two pegs there that will peg into these peg holes right here in his legs or his hips. You basically rotate that up, and you can just peg those right in like so. Gives them that clearance. You do this, well, I didn't get these all the way down. Rotate these down, and these also, it's hard to show this one. Right here on the forearms, right back in here, I'm not sure if I can get that enough light in there to see it. Right. Well, let's try this to get this out of the way. The back end here will flip up and down just to, this is part of the transformation for robot mode. But I want to pull this up out of the way so I can get some more light there to do it. If you can see it right there, there is a peg hole right in there that you will take. I'll do it on this side because you can see it better. There's a peg on the back side of the shoulder joint here on each side. That peg will peg into that peg hole on the various side. Let's see if I can, like here. There's the peg hole for this side. We'll rotate that down, turn it up, and it's not that peg hole which I'm trying to get to. Let's rotate this back down. Because it is in the wing, you rotate it down, and it will peg right into that peg hole to give you that extra tightness there. Same with this side here. There. Again, rotate this back up, and we'll peg it right back in to that joint. It's good to do it like so. Get this to know it's there. I did that only to show y'all to get that. You want to get that peg hole in there, and once you peg that in, when you have the upper body there too, you have this peg here that will peg, which I'm not showing on camera. I apologize for that. This peg here in the shoulder joint will peg right there into the side of the body. Which again, I'm not getting enough light onto that, but there's a peg hole right there, guys. Basically pegged it right in. It's not really a pain, but it's kind of tricky to make sure. Once you do it a few times, you'll get the hang of it. There we go. Which I've already unpegged the, well, it'll be alright. We'll just straighten this guy out some more. Let's not forget to, well, get that straightened back down. Also, fold the wings down, these tail fins here. Fold those down, and then you'll rotate, or not rotate, excuse me, unpeg this, and you'll raise this up and back in the back just like before. And sadly, I kind of wish there was a little peg hole. You do have these here in his back. I kind of wish there's a couple little pegs right here, or you can just peg this in just to help hold that in place a little bit better. But still just as fine. Next, or lastly, you want to, right here, the feet are basically there. You just kind of push here, which kind of pulls that out, and you just grab and pull it down that joint and straighten it out to form his feet on both sides. Both of mine are kind of tight because I haven't been working with them, but you see there, straighten those out. You can see I got them backward just to show how straight you can get them straight. Turn them around, we'll straighten them out some more, get that pegged in, straighten his arms out. And I'll raise the camera up for you. There we go. And we'll straighten his head up. And there we have Starscream in his robot mode. Now, if you have been, well, let's get that. That kind of looks awkward. So I can, bear with me just a moment, see if I can get this peg undone. Get that peg in there right. There we go. I didn't get that peg on that. Didn't get that peg all the way in there on that side. There we go. Alright, if you've been following the IDW books, this is basically now the body that Starscream has. He's had it for the last few issues though, but you know, this is basically the body he has now. You can peg all these weapons into him. Like, these do look fairly good, as I said before. When you put these on there, with Thundercracker, it does kind of hinder his movement because of the way they are, how big they are. But you can kind of peg them in like so, just to get them up out of the way if you want to. You can bring the smaller weapons in and peg those into his arms like so. And like so, just to do that. I'm just going to unpeg these because I kind of like showing Starscream with just his one blasters on his arms. don't forget he does have this missile launcher gun that you can peg in his hand if you want to. And I'm okay with it. Not a big fan of these guns at all. But you know, it's still there. Another note, if you can, I'm just going to do it with just this one side. Like with the Jetfire, you can take all these, and they have peg holes on all of them, as you see there. So you can, like with the Jetfire gun, you can combine them all, like so. You can combine that on there, like that. You can take the smaller one here. Well, I just fired a missile there, but it'll be alright. You can peg that there as well. You can even, if you really want to, throw that one in there. It kind of looks weird. You know, this is only half of it, so you can imagine putting the other half on there, how weird that does kind of look. But it's an option you can have if you want to just throw it around there. Which I'm going to get these out of the way. And we're going to put these back on him. Right there on his forearm. Right here on his leg. Now, before I get much further, I want to bring in the other versions of this guy, which I want to bring in his secret brother here, Thundercracker. And in comparing the two, aside from the paint scheme, where, you know, of course you got the reds and gray and blue for, you know, Starscream, with the yellow here in the cockpit. And of course you got the Decepticon logo here, which on this one, compared to the Thundercracker looks more like a decal, but it's not. It's still painted on there. Where Starscream's, it looks more just flat up on his symbol, or excuse me, on his shoulder. The Decepticon symbol is, and that I think looks really good on him. Like I said, Thundercrackers has the silver around it, and it kind of makes it look like a label. Nothing wrong with that, and it kind of makes the label, the symbol stand out some, but still pretty cool. I just think it looks better on the Starscream the way they did it with him than Thundercracker. It is the same exact details on everywhere. He has the same body shape, same head sculpt on both of them, just a little bit of different paint scheme on both. I actually thought at first that when I first got him, I was looking at him more closely, that it was different sculpting, but it's not. It's still the same sculpt. It's just different paint. You know, you got the lighter gray here, we got more of a silver on Thundercracker, and then Thundercracker does have a little bit of paint in there, basically in the vents or ears, and Starscream does too, but it's not kind of as proficient as Thundercracker's is, at least in my book. But it's basically the same mold, same everything on him. We're also bring in the other mold, the first mold, the Jetfire, just to bring them in for comparison, so you can see all three of the same mold basically, but substantial difference between them. You know, basically the Jetfire here is basically I consider more of a Tomcat, basically like a Tomcat fighter, where both of these are like the F-15s. Now, you're asking yourself, what makes Starscream stand out? Well, Starscream wouldn't be Starscream without his little accessory, his extra accessory that he come with, which was a crown. Starscream's not Starscream without his jeweled crown. You can get, of course, we are most known for having this on the Masterpiece mold. The Cybertron, the big Supreme class Starscream, has this same type of, you know, crown on him, and then this Starscream has him as well. If you've watched the comics, he actually has it, and it's actually like this, just thinner, or at least it seems thinner on the show. On the comic, like, it's not as profuse, I guess you can say, for it. But considering the size, like with Supreme class Starscream, how much bigger he is and how much bigger of a head he has, the base of the crown has to be bigger. So this one does work perfectly for this Starscream. Now, how does it work on him? Starscream, in his head, right there, one thing that's really, I find funny about him, is you can see right there, and basically in the center of his forehead, he's got like a bullet hole. Which we all know, of course, is just a peg hole, but it looks like a bullet hole, like Starscream's been shot in the head. And the crown has a little bitty peg right there in the front part of the crown. That basically just pegs into that peg hole. So all you do is just slide it down and on until you hear it pop like so, and it's in that hole and it sits comfortably. And there you have leader of Cybertron, leader of the Seekers, Starscream in his full robot glory, with his two fellow Decepticon, or his fellow Decepticon, somewhat Decepticon in the comics now, Thundercracker and his former friend Jetfire. And that's going to be it for this video, guys. I know it's been a while since I've done a review, and I hope this one's led up to the expectations. And I was really looking forward to doing the Starscream first and foremost for this reviews. I've come back to them and everything. Now, a couple of things to note for it. As I said, go to primetoys.net to get yours here from your Starscream there. Very cool, very easy to work with those guys. All you gotta do, go in there, pick them up, put them in your cart, and buy them. But if you live in Canada, there's a little instance for you for this, just for this month of November, which I apologize for being so late in the month for getting these videos out, so there's going to be a delay. All you got to do is when you go to checkout, if you have $300 worth of merchandise basically saved up into your shopping cart, you basically can go on there, type in the code TransmissionsCanada, and you get your shipping for free. Excuse me, it's $350 worth of shipping. It is kind of a high amount, but considering everything with the transfer rate and postage and everything like that, it's well worth it. There are quite a few things. You can go in there and get a couple of things in there and get that $350 like that. So it's definitely worth checking out, guys. And also check out Transmissions themselves. The Transmissions podcast is my fellow sponsored pod of primetoys.net. They are a podcast where I'm just a reviewer, but still definitely worth checking them out. They're a great group of guys that talk about anything and everything Transformers, comics, toys, third-party news, movie news, game news, you name it, they talk about it. Definitely worth checking them out. I'll have a link to their podcast down below as well. But guys, and one last thing. The podcast has been, and I am going to start pushing it out more, where there's a petition out there to get the IDW guys and that to do a new IDW comic based on the G1 cartoon. Not the Regeneration 1, not the Generation 1 comic, but a new cartoon comic. Basically stuff to like put more stories out there, explain like things like, oh, how did Hot Rod and Cup and all them get to Earth before, the G1 movie come out. Stuff like that. Little tidbits. All that kind of stuff. So I'll have a link to that below. If I don't have it, it's on the Transmission Podcast on their website. We can sign it to help us get that out there to get it made for us. But lastly, guys, this is Don Bot saying thanks again for watching. Oh, before I sign out, please like, comment, and share this video as usual. And if you want to, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. I'll have both those links below. And send me a Gmail if you want to below as well. I have a link to that as my email account as well to send it down there. But as usual, guys, this is Don Bot saying thanks for watching, and I hope to hear from you soon.